Good evening. Welcome to Mighty Ox Trading. Live trading of the futures market, Wednesday, November 17th. How's everyone's week been going? Hope it's been going well. I've not really looked over the markets this evening yet. Just got done with supper, was getting everything set up. So, did notice that gold kind of went without me. Copper. Copper had a pretty wild down day. You can see copper today fell from 436 all the way down to 419, a little under 419. That's a huge drop. Almost $5,000. Copper's giving us a signal right now. Bounce off the band, kind of curling up here. Let's look at that. We'll jump into something right away here. How much time we got on this? Right now, huh? Okay. We went in on a uh, limit order. We'll see if we get filled. Oops. Whoops. Okay. Can you hear me okay? Okay. I can hear me. That's all I needed to know. So we have not got filled. Though we have a 3-tick spread right now on copper, which is larger than normal. We'll see if we get filled. Looks like not. I can't really tell where that order's at actually. Let's blow this up. Yep, we're gonna. Okay, it went without us. So should have marked it in and I didn't. So let's look at the indices are doing, see how the market's moving. We see them today. Nasdaq started off the day going wild upwards. Oops. Going wild upwards, and then almost gave it all back. Finished about mid-range, but a little bit lower. But yeah, it came down from 397, hit a low of like 289, so it gave back 100 points. The S&P is kind of coming up. You see the upward trending bands there. It also did about the exact same thing. 4701 of the high all the way down to 4679. So that's about 22 points, another $100 on the S&P. Yep, copper went. I should have marked it in. I hit a limit order, and that was a mistake on my part. As you can see, copper's going here a bit. Let's see how far it goes without us. So far, it's gone 8 ticks. So we'll watch that. UltraBond. Let's see what the UltraBond is doing here. UltraBond had a pretty wild day. You can see here, kind of, but went, easier to see in a 5-minute chart. That's still a 1-minute chart. Good job. Where are we at? There. That's what I wanted. So you can see, it was kind of uneventful through the overnight. Then it dropped, and right around the Open the U.S. Open this morning. It just started going up. Had a few pullbacks. This was a wild pullback. You see, it just came down out of nowhere and bounced back up. I think there was some sort of bond auction today, but I'm not sure. And it just, I mean, it went up, 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 up until the close, basically. Pulled back right at the close. So from the bottom here of 192.06, which happened right at 9 o'clock Eastern until close, it went up three points, which is $3,000. You could have rode that all the way up. You had a couple pullbacks, pullback here, this odd pullback, and this happened really quick actually. And then this pullback here. Crude oil also had an interesting day. And you see I missed this move downward here too. Let's move down right here on that signal. Has already gone about 25 ticks. We looked for 20 and would have got it easily. But crude, let's see. First of all, crude rolled contracts, I believe, from December to January. And that caused this weird move. This is the close and this is the open. The open was almost a full point lower than the close. So then it trended downward, down, and it never really, I mean, besides this one real pullback, then a pullback toward the close, it just went down most of the day by almost 3 points, which is also $3,000. Natural gas, I think, might have also rolled. Didn't have that dramatic move at the open, but it just went down all day. Almost 400 ticks. So that's where we stand now, basically. I didn't look at the ES. Oh yeah, I did. That's right. ES did the same thing, basically, NASDAQ. And the Russell. You can see I didn't even look at the Russell most of the day. I put these lines here. You know, when I woke up this morning, this is what the range of the day was, where these two lines are. And then you can see right here about 8 a.m. Eastern, it just starts heading down. It just went south all the way down here. So that was about a 40-point range, 39-point range today. Which is about 2,000 on the Russell, which is pretty impressive. It's moving upwards right now. Came down. You had your pullbacks along the way. Back, basically, you can see how it pulls back to the SMA line. Back, down, back, down, back, down, and finally gets it back above it here, breaks back below. Could have played those ping pongs. See the NASDAQ and the S&P giving us some sell signals here, but we have uptrending bands. You in the dip. Okay, the dip on what, Mr. Higgles? And how you doing tonight, Mr. Higgles? We have upward trending bands here, so I'm not jumping on this short signal. I think that was the Russell. Is that the Russell? It doesn't look like the Russell. Maybe might have been here. I don't. Right now I'm flat, not in anything. Kind of feeling out the market. I've only been really checking out since I came on stream about 10 minutes ago. Signal in the Russell. Buy signal in the Russell. Moving in the upwards direction. Now I have possibly noticed an interesting trend on gold. And right on time, gold gives me a signal. Pulling back here. But right here, right after 7 p.m. Eastern time, gave me a good signal. Now, it wasn't on at that time. I was getting ready to eat supper. But I realized if we go back in time, should be an easier way to go back in time. Doom, doom. This was the same time last night. Great signal. And let's continue going back in time. Same time Monday night. Great signal. Let's go back further. Boom, 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 boom. Now it's the same, almost the same time. And this time it's been a short signal, but again, great signal. Go back last week. Same time, right after 9. I'm sorry, right after 7. Great signal. Let's check here. Right after 8. I'm sorry, right after 9, right after 7. Again, a winning signal. Let's look back one couple more days. Okay, this one would not have been a winning signal. It did, I mean, it was close. Let's look at it. It was a decent signal. But it only went 11 ticks. Still would have been a decent signal. Right at that same time. Let's look one more day. Right. That's exactly right. I mean, I'll probably try to play it tomorrow. And, you know, with a tight stop loss. And, okay, so it was a pattern for about 6 days. It looks like going back here. We also got a signal right around that time. This one would have been, well, actually, it wouldn't have been bad. It went down and it went 14 ticks. That would have been enough, I could set it like a 10 to be good. Instead of going for 16 ticks, go for 10 ticks with 3 contracts with a tight stop loss. That would be pretty good. Let's pull him back here now. And copper I missed this entry on copper, and it would have given me a great win. So that's a little bit frustrating to start tonight, but that's okay. Natural gas. Natty gas. Spotty, although I'm seeing a little bit more volume tonight than I normally do at this time of night on natural gas. Natural gas is usually really spotty this time of night. Yeah, I'm gonna make sure I'm on tomorrow night at right as that starts to run. If it gives me a signal, I'm gonna take it. Probably go for 2 contracts with a tight stop and let it see if it goes. Copper's continuing to go. Russell, spotty sideways. Let's see, natural gas. Excuse me. Just drink soda and I'm burping. See the daily chart on natural gas is we're at highs we haven't seen in natural gas since 2014. So this is 7 years. It's been 7 years since we've seen these type of highs being hit right now in natural gas. But nothing compared to way back in 2008, 2005, 2006. It looks like. How far does this go back? Wow. I didn't realize these charts went back this far. Wow, it can go all the way back to the 90s. Wow. Well, let's look at more recent. Check last year instead of going back into the 1990s. Yeah, right here. November 18, and then November and December were the yearly highs. 2019, yeah, right here. This seems to hit the highs in November as it starts coming down. At least that's what it did in 2019. Here's here's 2020. It hit its high in the beginning of November, pulled back, and then came up for a second high in February, and then pulled back. But then it's been rising most of the year this year. So be interesting to see where it goes. UB giving us a buy signal. It's very spotty, barely any volume. This candle gave us 39 in volume. I'm not seeing a lot of volume in the UltraBond right now. Crude's coming down pretty hard right now. So that short signal on gold earlier, looks like I should have grabbed it. Would have gave me my 16 ticks. So I mean, so far gold. Well, let's look at this. Got this signal here that I was talking about, and it pulled back and gave me another one, would not have gotten all the way back up to another 16. We got 11 for this pullback. Excuse me. Copper leveled off here a bit. NASDAQ showing some signs upwards, but S&P's kind of showing signs downwards. And Q with a buy signal here. Well, it's been kind of flat. Yeah, it looks, I don't know, not much of one really, but a little bit. We got a signal here on the NQ. It's not the cleanest signal I've ever seen. Are they inverted? What do you mean, are they inverted? I wouldn't even know how to invert them. I've heard of inverted charts, but I've never done it. Gonna go into going into the NQ, micro NQ, with two contracts here on this buy signal. It's iffy for me here, so I'm not really sure. I have these two. Yeah, I have the 5 minute and the 1 minute here on for the Nasdaq, and on the right side I have the S&P 5 and 1. Uh, I'm gonna have to manage this trade myself because I went in with the wrong trade, the wrong stop management. This needs to come up. So we got it at 37. Make this 27. Which works out good. That's right at the SMA line. I mean EMA line. Much better. Let's see on the 5 minute. Oops. Oopsie, oopsie, oopsie. Put this always on top. There we go. You can see here on the 5 minute chart. This was actually went against my trading plan, but I didn't notice it. This candle, last candle, and this current candle is well into the third Bollinger Band, which would indicate a pullback. And we're seeing that pullback here. But we could maybe get us some room to move. kind of sideways here for a little bit. It's breathing. There we go. Back to break even. Hmm. This is kind of blah right now. But it's a micro, so it's not that big of a deal. 2 micro contracts. If it goes all the way my stop, it'll be a $40 loss. Yeah, I'm giving it room to roam. Yeah, I went in with 2 micro contracts off this buy signal here, which was probably a bad decision based on where it was in the bands. I'm down $12 on this trade right now. Yeah, if you see a Ninja Trader window up on my screen, that means I'm usually in something. I don't block off trading view unless I'm actually with a Ninja Traders window, unless I'm about to enter or in a trade. Yeah, this is pulling back. Big move back up. You might have been right. I should have maybe added to the position there. I don't like to add in the things that are already oozing though. Oh, I'm actually in for 3 contracts instead of 2. Whoops. Wait, am I? No, 2. Not sure why it says 3. Yeah, it's slow. It's a little bit slower here in the evening, so I mean you can see here on the 5 minute, it's slowly trending up. But not a lot of movement, but I mean, and the NQ definitely likes to just bounce around. Crude oil. Crude oil is trying to come back up. Back down here on the NQ. There we go. There we're seeing some green. There's that bounce you were calling there, Mr. Higgles. Yeah, I don't have a lot of crude's one of my secondaries. If I had to pick out four that I would watch, my main four would be copper, gold, NQ, and the UltraBond. And then the four in reserve would be gas, oil, uh, Russell, and the ES. Gold. What's gold doing? Yeah, gold's maybe trying to push back up. NQ, we're down $5 on two micros. Nothing huge either way. Yeah, gold's been doing really well the last few days. Cooled off a bit yesterday, but thank you. Still trying to kind of curl up. Still think it might get into profit here. It's trying now. Back to break even. ES also pushing up now, I think. My Ninja Trader chart's blocking it, but yeah, and the ES is also popping up with a buy signal. So we'll see if these two can go together. Yeah, I started with 5-minute charts. Well, I started with 15 and 5. I would play the trend that's on the 15, but on the 5-minute chart. And I kept noticing where my signals were coming late on the 5-minute, so I moved to the 2-minute, and then ultimately the 1-minute. But I still watched the 5. See what the Dom can tell me. Excuse me. Yeah, I've got a Webull account too, but I haven't looked at it lately because I'm not trading stocks at all. So here's our Dom on the MNQ. Big load of contracts stacked on the ask up at 16,340, which is about 2 points away from where we're at. That's gonna be a wall to get though. Well, okay, we went down. That's why it's not showing it. Otherwise, the ask looks thinner than the bid, so that's a good sign. No, it's actually not a good sign. I'm reversing that in my mind. Be easier to pull through if buyers come in, but I don't know. Right now we're pulling back. Oh, this stuff all gets manipulated somewhat. I've seen estimates that the ES is like 80% algorithms. I don't know if that's true or not, but down $10 on this trade right now. Put the Dom off to the side. See what else we did. We see here that we did break the SMA line here on the Nasdaq. See whether or not it pops back up. Do want to thank everyone for joining me tonight. Please feel free to say hello in the chat or ask any questions, statements, insults. And if you wonder who I'm talking to and you see no one chatting, I use Restream to to stream to both YouTube and Twitch. So I'm talking to Mr. Higgles here. You can see him here on this chat. I can talk to both YouTube and Twitch at the same time, but you two don't see each other. But that way you know I'm not talking to myself. I only do that when I'm not live streaming. We have a pullback into upward trending Bollinger Bands, so that there's a good chance it bounces off the bands here. You may well be right. Nice little pop-up just and bounced off the bands. Crude's trying to get my attention again. That was an excellent call there. I should have, yeah. That was an excellent call there, Mr. Hagels. Perfect bounce. This 1 minute candle's up 3 points, three and a quarter points. It's back at my entry point. Yep. Well, volume on the let's see. Volume on that big green candle was only 52. This candle so far is 10. Well, what goes up must come down. Though that really hasn't been true of the stock market or the markets at all lately. Oh, there's a big move up. Okay, why do you say that? Why do you feel it's going to crash? I'm just curious. I'm not questioning you. I'm just curious why you feel that way. What you're seeing or why you feel it's going to crash. This one, the sell signal, or lower than here? That's possible. I mean, it's not that far above it. It'll take us down into the lower bands. Let's check out what the UltraBond's doing. Oh, there it goes. Oops. Before I go there, we're up $11 now in this trade. We're once again back into the third Bollinger Band. Yep, pull back to break even. Definitely kind of choppy. It might cool off. That order that was resting at 16,340 is going away. That 124 contracts. Oh yeah. It always snaps back to the middle. Something else is giving me a signal here, but I have it blocked. Let's see what it is. ES. Oh yeah, ES is pulled back. Let me move this out of the way for a second. You can see here, usually the NASDAQ and the ES move in similar patterns, but you see here the NQ has been moving up while the ES has been moving down. So they're kind of in a little bit of divergence, which is unusual. MNQ's back to my break-even spot. Right now, our $5 profit would be just enough to cover the commissions of this trade. Up, back down to 3. Got a bit of a wall of orders according to the DOM at around 16,341. Got 33 orders sitting there. 33 orders. We're up $7. Previous high of this move is here on this candle, and it hit 16,340.75. Another pullback. This is just choppy in a slightly upwards direction. Let's go check out, see what copper's doing, because copper gave us a signal. Copper is giving us a sell signal. What does the 5-minute look like? 5 minutes extended. Let's see. Sell signals have been eh, I'm only in for 2 contracts, so lagging out isn't that big of a deal, and they're micros, so it's not like I'm going to lose much here. Gold sent me a signal. Gold also sent me a sell signal. It's also pulling back. It's pulling back to yesterday's high. NQ. Trying to see. I mean, it's still slightly trending upwards. It's just hugging those those third bands on the 5-minute all the way up. There. It's interesting. NQ is just kind of going sideways here. What's the Russell doing? Russell's trying to come back up. Nice downtrend on the Russell here. Crude oil tried to pop up, got knocked back down sideways. Well, if I knew that exactly, I could guarantee myself a win. We're up $3. Woo-hoo. Gold's pulled back. Still an upward trending band. Still above the, well, just slightly below the SMA line here. Looks like gold here on the 5-minute is using yesterday's high as a support zone. See if it bounces off that. It's kind of bounced off of it 3 times here. This yellow line is yesterday's high. No, this is gold right now. Up here, top left is gold. I switched over the Ninja Trader chart here. This one here, that's NQ. Gold just trying to break down through yesterday's high. There we go. NQ kind of going now. We're up $10. Switching over to copper chart on TradingView. Okay, copper came down hard, bounced. Kind of bounced off the SMA line on the 5-minute. Went way below the Bollinger Band on the 1-minute. NQ went up that same spot. You can see here, if we look at the NQ chart on the 1-minute, it's hit the same area. Let's blow that up. Boop, 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 boop. It's hit this same level like 3 times and bounced off of it. It's struggling to get above there. I mean, it got above it on this one candle and then pulled back. It's tried a couple more times and it's just not getting there. It's trying for the 4th time. Still struggling. On NQ, let's look. I'll look at the DOM. NQ's dropped back below my price. There's like the NQ's DOM looks pretty thin here. I mean, single digit orders on both sides, so the bid and the ask. Not a lot of anything on either side. It's moving back up. Let me check that copper signal quick. Copper's kind of confused at the moment. Looks like it wants to continue pushing down. Stick with our NQ here. It's providing us a little action at least. It's, again, we see it's kind of sitting right above that line. Nope, it rejected off that same area again. See, it's getting right to there. 3 times. There we go. Now it's breaking through. We're back up to up $10 on this. Previous high of this move was 16,341. We're at 16,340 right now. Again, it bounced off that high. We're back below that resistance point now. Start thinking if it gets back up to where I'm up $10, I should take it. Not that that's anything to write home about. Back down to break even on my trade. Copper. Back with a buy signal. Below the SMA, it's trending downward. We'll wait on that. Yep. Now we're dumping on the NQ. Back down to the bottom Bollinger Band. Russell, still not doing much. I mean, it's trying, but we've been in this trade now for quite a while. Been in this trade now for 33 minutes, and we haven't gone above or below $10 either way. ES and Q. NQ giving me a sell signal. ES is heading down. See if it bounces. It's really indecisive right now. Well, we're back up $3. Let's take a quick look at what natural gas is doing. Nothing I'm really worried about. Back to NQ. We see this. We had a big green candle here. Back to right at break even. Signals, gold and copper. Let's see what they're doing. Well, this decides what it wants to do. Got a sell signal back here on copper. Come back and check that in a second. Gold is trying to get back above that prior day's high. Let's check this copper sellout because we have. I want to see it break this SMA line here in the 5-minute chart. So we're going to keep it locked in here. I'll keep up this NQ chart on Ninja Trader. But I'm going to keep an eye on copper. Let's see what the signal is. Yes. Well, NQ keeps trying. Copper has gotten below that SMA line now. Back to up $7 on NQ. And back to break even. Now I've been in this trade almost 40 minutes and we're at break even. Yay. And I should have jumped in on this copper trade, it looks like. You can see it's moving down. So if I had gotten in there, we had already been at one profit target. Copper keeps making me remind myself that I should never doubt copper. You can see it's almost at a second profit target. So that's going without me. Back over here to NQ. You can see now it looks like it wants to start trending downward. We do have the SMA line that's starting to point down now. Most of the price action has been below the SMA since it broke through here. It tried to get back above. Came up to this area like 4 different times. We can move this down here, this line here. Right there, it bounced 3 different times, got above it once, and then rejected down. If we take a look at it on the 5-minute, you can see that the 5-minute is still just kind of hugging those Bollinger Bands, but it's starting to pull back from them just a bit. I moved my stop up earlier. At that point, it was just below the bands, then I moved it up. Now I can move it up even further. You can see it's continuing to come down here. I don't know, we're only $5 down, but not sure we're gonna see a bounce here. Still not giving us direction either way, really. Oh, here we go. We're back at $1 in the profit. Sitting back where we were above the SMA line, now we're just kind of riding it. Russell. It's like the fourth signal that Russell's given us since we've been watching this. Russell's trying to push up. NASDAQ deciding what it wants to do. ES is still kind of pushing down. Wait, crash and pop at the same time? How does something crash and pop at the same time? Starting to see some orders line up. I'm looking at the DOM on my second screen. Starting to see some orders lining up here on the ask. You got 12 right at 13,400. You got 11 at 1341. It's trying. It's trying. I think I can. 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 Back down. Yeah, I'm thinking it's gonna be bouncy too. I wish I could play overnights instead of the evenings. Things seem to do better overnight than in the evenings. Just hanging right around my entry point. Ooh, ton of sell orders now sitting at 16,339, 27, 28. It's gonna have to break that wall before it can get any higher up. Having a, what's this? Copper again. So it's interesting. Copper on that signal never did get to our profit target. It's now reversed. Buy signal here. Not convinced. Up. Either ran through those orders or those orders got pulled because let's see here we're back to pushing through. We're still struggling to get through this area. Well, we've been kind of horizontal now, honestly, for the last little while. We've been in this range here basically almost since I've been in this trade. Here's where, I mean, if we blow this up, boop, 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 ba-dum. I blew up the 5 minute. Whoops. Although now we're back up to being up $11. Bollinger Bands are bending downward. We'll see. You can see here, basically been in this range here since for about 45 minutes. Previous high of this move has been 16,341. It's hit it twice. It's exactly where we're at now. ES giving us a buy signal. There's a pushing up, pushing back down. Really struggling here. Not many orders on the ask. Push back down to 39, back up to 40. Oop, big move back down. I should have took the $10. I see you people lurking on YouTube. Feel free to say hi. Yep, of course it is. Yeah, sitting at $8. You know, I would if this was if I wasn't in on micros, if this was a regular contract, yeah, I would sell because I would be up right now. I'll be up $40. I'm not real worried about losing $8. And if it does go to the moon, then I'm up good. If not, it's $8. I've pulled my stop now, less than 2 points behind my entry price. So even if it crashes all the way down to my stop, I'm gonna lose about $8. Looking for more signals. Nothing else is coming in right now. Let's take a quick look through what's going on. We have copper that reversed a bit. We have gold trying to get back above. UltraBond came up some. That would have gave us a nice win, 7 ticks. Crude sideways. Gas is kind of indecisive. There's our crash down on the Nasdaq. Back down to my entry price. Not a lot of action this evening so far. not even a lot of action. Usually there's action at the top of the hour, and there really wasn't any. Ooh, that was a hmm, something that's happened there. Look at this spike in volume here. This volume spike. We went from 12 contracts in that last minute to, oh, okay, we just stopped out. All three indices are heading downward. Ah, not what I was trying to do. Boom. They went downward and trying to bounce now. It may be, but again, it was all of $7. We took a $7 loss. So I'm not like real upset about it. I was in that trade forever. It was almost an hour trade. Yeah, wow. Nice bounce back up. Yeah. You called that fake out well there, Higgles. Well, we still have this upward trend. I mean, this is a weird looking trend on the 5-minute chart. Let me put this down now since we're no longer in this trade. This is a weird trending. I've never quite seen it hug the third band like this before. I've never seen this move. I mean, the SMA line is here. It hasn't even come back to touch it. You see the ATR line has just been static. I've never seen the way it's just basically stayed between the second and third band with a slight upward trajectory. It's really odd. Yep. So we see here, this did a big red candle down, big green candle back up, big red candle back down. Let's see. Copper's giving us a sell signal back down. I like that, actually. Let me find that chart. It keeps the sell signal, get in. 27 seconds. Yep. Signal went away. And we'll wait another minute. Let's go back and check the NQ and see if, oh, that was weird. NQ is still heading downward now. Now copper's giving us another sell signal. It looks like it's going to stay. So we're going to get into a copper trade here. Filled. Took a 1 tick of slippage. Gold. What's gold doing? Gold's trying to pull back as well, but into an SMA line. Well, I mean, here we finally got away from the bands on NQ. This candle here is away from the bands finally. Be interested to see if it bounces off the SMA line. Copper is immediately turned against us. Ouch. Copper's going to stop me out. Down 7 ticks on copper, down 9 ticks on copper. Big bounce there on the NQ by 2.25, 2 and 3/4 points. So I gotta look to see if trying to see what I did wrong here on copper, if there's anything. Maybe I just should have waited. We did still have uptrending SMA lines and an uptrending Bollinger Band, so maybe I got in too soon. We'll see. NQ's still coming down. Oops, I forgot to bring up. There we go. You can see the copper chart there. Back down, only being down 4 ticks, so thought it was going to stop me out. Oh, yeah. NQ has broke that SMA lines. This is a 3.5 point 5 minute candle. Up, we're in profit on the NQ on copper now. Gold also sending us a signal. Gold's heading back upwards. Bounced off the SMA line. Uh, if my stop loss was any lower, I would have stopped out on this trade I'm currently up in. Though we are now hitting this Bollinger Band. I probably should have took that $50 because we hit this Bollinger Band and bounced. We're back down to being 3 ticks down on the on copper. Looks like I might have bounced off a band. Let's see if the SMA line is sitting right at about 424.80. My stop is sitting at 424.95. I think. Yeah, 424.80. We got the short signal here. Came back up, bounced off the SMA, came back down, bounced off the Bollinger Band, came back up. Now it's back to break even. NQ. NQ is sending me a short signal now in the 5-minute. See if it bounces here. Right now it's below the SMA line. Definitely looks like a downtrending move here on the 1-minute. Get rid of this line here. That don't matter anymore. So the move here to make would have been to take this short signal on the NQ. It's gone down 6 points now. There we go. Now we're in profit on copper by 2 ticks. See copper starting to trend down. We have this downward curve now just a bit on the SMA line. On what, Mr. Higgles? I can make money whether it goes up or goes down depending on which way I play it. I'm short on copper. I'm wanting it to go down. I just didn't take the I should have took the opposite. I should have took the short signal on Nasdaq, but I didn't. I waited till it stopped me out and I just moved on. Yeah, I wish I'd gotten in short on NQ. You can see here, if I would have got in here off the signal, would have went about 7.25 points so far. But for now, just going to focus on this copper and see whether or not it continues down for me. What the heck just happened there? Ouch. Not sure where that little spike came from. So now we're down 6 ticks on copper. UltraBond. Ooh. UltraBond made some nice moves. Easily would have gave me 7 ticks. Come on. Copper's a bit sideways now. NQ trying to curl back up to the SMA line. I don't know. UltraBond's pulling back to the SMA. We'll see if it bounces off the SMA. Yeah, the only thing about the UltraBond is it doesn't have a lot of volume. Getting about 30 to 45 orders every 2 minutes, every minute. Crude and NQ sending a signal. What's NQ doing? NQ trying to come back up, back above the SMA line. You see this is on the 5 minute. This is a reversal candle here. I'm now down 4 ticks on this copper trade. Still hoping this curls down for me. The SMA's curled down. Hey Jay, yeah, isn't it like 4 a.m. there, Jay? Back down to just one tick down on this copper trade. That's trying to torture me. Oh, now it's 4 ticks down. Ah, NQ. NQ came up some, now pulled back. Hey, John. I'm doing all right. How are you? Uh, Copper is printing now. I Copper's down 5 ticks for me right now. We'll see what it does. It came up into the uptrending, downtrending Bollinger Bands. Ouch. Yeah, it's gonna soon stop me out anyway. It'll stop me out at 12 ticks. Right now I'm 10 ticks into the red. It's actually giving me an opposite signal here, though we are still below the SMA line here on the 5-minute chart. So maybe it might bounce. Trading slow right now. Um, John, that does sound like a full day there. So for trading so far, I'm down on this copper trade, down by 10 ticks so far. No, 8 ticks. And I took an $8 loss on the MNQ. That's been it so far. It's been kind of kind of a slowish night. Mr. Higgles, I am short on this trade, not long. I got in on this short signal. And again, guys, Mr. Higgles meet John, John meet Mr. Higgles. YouTube, Twitch together, so you don't think I'm talking to myself. Yep. Copper's trying to bounce back down. Gold. Gold's kind of doing the same thing. I missed that signal there. See if it heads downward. Not much follow through in anything so far tonight. Oh, that's great. Great job, John. Yeah, I saw. I because of some issues going on, at my house. I didn't make any plays at all earlier today, but I was watching it. There's definitely money to be made all over today. Great job, John. Excellent job. Yep. So I thought I was going to get stomped out on this copper trade. It's come all the way back now. I'm only down 1 tick. Let's see what Crude's yelling about. Crude's just been sideways. And natural gas. Barely any volume there. Yep. Copper Now, what I don't like about copper is this squeeze. Bands are tight together, so I'm hoping this starts pushing downward. I'm up 4 ticks on this trade. Wow, I'm now up 6 ticks on this trade. Apex, I there's no red flags that anyone's seen. Although the fact that they're running this 50% off now, what's going to end up being for 4 months is a bit of a worry. So far, no one's been paid because they only pay once a month, and most people did not reach the passing and then getting the profitable money, money to cash out um, before the first cash out date. I'm not sure if you watched videos from Canadian Futures Trader or not. He reviews all these firms. He has passed an evaluation with Apex, but he will not get to see his first payout until the end of November. So everyone's kind of waiting to see if he gets paid. But there's no red flags to say it's not on the up and up. Yeah, they only pay out once a month, so that to me is a drawback. They also, I believe, have a constantly trailing drawdown instead of the end of day drawdown that Earn a Trade uses. I just I feel like this 50% off thing is very gimmicky. I understand it that they did it for the first month or 2 months that they were in business. They only started in September. So, but now that they made a big deal out of it, and everyone was doing videos that, one day left, until of the 50%, and then the day after the 50% ends, they announce that they're going to continue it for another 2 months. So I don't know. It just seems, you know, I have no reason to doubt them, but I don't know. Yeah, they just I believe it was September they launched. Yes, Mr. Higgles. Sorry, I was answering John's question on YouTube. I mean, I understand the 50% off when they first started to get people's attention. I don't understand the extending that for a total of 4 months. Yeah, especially with the holidays coming up. Why not just let it cool for 2 weeks and then maybe announce it again as like a Black Friday sale or something. It just there seems to be a money grab there. I don't. I don't know. I prefer, Earn a Trade's been around for a few years now, and that's, they may not give you a 50% off, but I have no doubt that I'm gonna get paid once I'm funded, and they're good people. There's good, support and everything. Yeah, they've been around for quite a while. I want to say 2017 or 2018, so 3 or 4 years, something like that. And really good people. Gold, bouncing. So we see here, let's see. We would have taken that short signal here. Would have given us not our 6 ticks. Would have given, oops, boom, about 8 ticks. Copper's kind of just squeezing here. Yeah, Mr. Higgles, the funding thing, there are a bunch of, you know, new funding programs popping up. And yeah, it is because, you saw a whole bunch of new traders start hitting things with the pandemic and people having nothing to do and all that. For copper, I usually look for 20 ticks on a win, but I probably will cut this short if it gives me, we'll see. Right now I'm up 3 ticks. Oh, now I'm up 5. Now I'm up 3. Looks like I might want to go down. We'll see what happens here. I'm up 6 ticks. I'm up 7 ticks. This trade has definitely been uh, what's the word I'm looking for? An adventure. I was within 2 ticks of stopping out earlier. Now I'm up 5. Let's see where it takes us. Up 9 ticks. Up 10 ticks. Broke the EMA line on the 1 minute. We see that the band is starting to curl. Not the band. The SMA line is starting to curl in the downward direction. Oops, there's that bounce you were talking about. Back up 6 ticks. Watching the DOM on my other screen, it's kind of bouncing there between 423.80 and 423.90. Not a lot of orders stacked on either side. There we go. There we go. My stop just moved to break even. There we go. There we go. My stop's now moved a few ticks back. Guaranteeing. Right now I'm guaranteed 125 in profit. There we go. Now we're moving. We're up $225 on this. My trailing stop is a couple ticks behind. My trailing stop is, okay, there we go. Trade is done. Let's look at the videotape. Yeah, it came back, stopped me out, still going, which is okay. I'll take the win. Boom. So we're up 180.50. We lost 7 earlier, so we ended up getting 15 ticks out of that trade. Executions. Total time in the trade. Total time in the trade was 30 minutes and 12 seconds. And we see it's still going down, but I'm happy with that. I'm not going to complain. Eventually, what my goal is to run more than one contract at a time. Let one go to a profit target, and then trail the other one by a wider margin. But for now, using only one contract, that works for me. Thank you, John. So, that's a good night so far. You see NQ is back into the Bollinger Bands. We did this earlier. This was the move down. You see this move down. It only ever went down that 7.25 ticks, and it's come back up since. Now we're back up to above that area I was in before. John, for the evaluation, they give the Ninja Trader for free, but I believe that's only for the evaluation. I'm not sure once you're funded if you can still use that license or not. I can find out for you if you want me to find out, or you're also welcome if you use Discord to join the Earn the Trade Discord and ask. But I can find out that answer for you tomorrow. Yeah, it is free for the evaluation at the very least. You're welcome. I aim to please. Did I get a little bounce there on copper, but continuing down. Well, NQ is at the highest spot it's been. This is as high of the session so far, I believe. Maybe not? Yeah, high of the session so far. No, John, I don't. Should I? Ooh, big move down on gold. Gold dropping like a rock. A shiny yellow rock. UltraBond starting to trend downward. Crude is looking ugly. Crude's also heading downward here. Uh, John, does he trade futures or what does he trade? And John, this is on YouTube. This person you're recommending. See, platinum's also coming down hard. I don't chart out platinum. I started to once, but I didn't continue. Okay. I mean, I don't have the money to trade Tesla, but I watch Tesla because Tesla, if you follow the NQ, Tesla, I mean, check this out. I'm going to try and do side by side here. This was Tesla at the open this morning. See, this is Tesla at the open this morning. Now let me bring up NQ. NQ. Ignore those arrows. I was pointing something out. There we go. Ooh. Okay. So look at this at the open, and then look at Tesla. Notice how it looks almost the same. NQ, Tesla, NQ, Tesla. So if you're watching Tesla, you can almost tell what the NQ's doing at the same time. At least at the open. It doesn't necessarily stay that way the entire day, but if Tesla's on an uptrend, the NQ is almost always on an uptrend. Hi, Gun31. I don't have any money to give you to start your crypto journey. Oh wow, terminal cancer, and he's down. Ouch. I admire him for continuing on with that. Anyway, Gun, I wouldn't hand out money like that anyway to start a crypto journey like that. Crypto, for one thing, is the wild, wild west, in my opinion. If you're going to trade, you should trade something. If you're a newer trader, you should trade something that's I don't want to say stable, but more. It's more of a track record. I mean, I believe in crypto, but at this point, it's still pretty wild. So, but if you have that little bit of money, you should not yet be trading something where you could easily lose that money. ES and NQ giving signals, and I'm sitting here and I don't see them. What are they? Oh, okay. So we have this U shape here on the NQ, and it's coming back down. It came back up, hit 16,343, came down, tried again here, hit 16,4150, and coming down. So almost a double top rejection. Okay, my cat has decided to join me and is blocking my view of my charts. So if you see anything weird come up, it means he stepped on the keyboard. Gold trying to find its bottom here. It's kind of bouncing up. UltraBond is sideways. ATR there. It's ATR, John. It's actually the super trend um, with an ATR period of 10 uh, and ATR multiplier of 2.2. And then I got Bollinger Bands second and third standard deviation Bollinger Bands around them. Red is 200 day. Uh, no, the red is the 20 period simple moving average. The blue line, usually well, most of my charts it's blue. Actually, where is my? Huh, I don't have moving average on here. Oh, there it is. Yeah, that's the 200 period moving average. 200 period exponential moving average. Yeah, Bollinger Band, Super Trend, and 200 period EMA. And I very rarely pay attention to the second, this 2 standard deviation band, but the 3 band is very good. I find that if it hits the third band out of the blue like it did here, it almost always bounces. So it bounced there. If it's climbing up, that's not necessarily a thing, but like here, it broke down through this band and then bounced up. And on a daily chart, yeah, the blue is 200 period exponential moving average. And that's all I basically use. I've experimented with stuff. Matter of fact, here on the copper chart, you can see I have VWAP bands on here. I've played with that some. I've played with a bunch of indicators over my time, but the super trend gives me good signals usually, and then I just filter them by looking at the bands, the S and the SMA. Yes, actually I do. Uh, Give me 1 second. This is my trusty spreadsheet, and as you can see, it's sure how all my I good. For some reason, all my things are wiped out here, but at least my weekly totals are still here. But here, this is the last. I actually have 13 weeks of data now. Like last week on copper, I chart out every trade I would have taken for all 5 days for 20 to 23 hours a day, 5 days a week. So last week, like on copper, I've been 57 and 30. The 4 was ones that would have went far enough toward my profit target to trigger my trailing stop, but not for the full profit target. So, like here, so 57 wins, 30 losses, have been 690 total ticks of profit. Um, Gold, 64 and 41 at 1612. And then I run 35-25 during from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. That would have been 10 and 6. I didn't finish charting out ES. Um, NQ at 15 to 10 would have been 61, 37, 9, and at 30-20 for the same time frame, 8 to 11, 8 and 6. UB would have been wonderful last week, 67-25. Yeah, they're excellent win percentage, and they're all more than 1 to 1. Um, which is why I get mad at myself for not taking trades. Because I have, like I said, 13 weeks of data. For some reason, I'm not sure why my data all got wiped out here. This is upsetting to me. Um, but there's only been like my totals are still here, so that's good. There's only been a very few days where I get a negative amount. Like here, this on September 28th, I would have gotten negative 13 ticks in gold and negative 25 ticks here. But I mean, there's some really good days. Almost every day is positive. Now there's some subjectiveness to it. I don't take every signal. Like here. Here on this chart, this buy signal, I would not have taken because it's a downtrending SMA line, and that's going against the trend. Now, actually, 4275. I mean, that would have got 15 ticks in the profit. Meh. If I'm going to go against the trend, I need to go for a very short profit target. But so there is some subjectiveness to it. I don't take every signal. Like I wouldn't have taken this because it was downtrending. I mean, it was going down into a Bollinger Band. And if a signal comes on it where it's pierced the bands, I won't take that one as well. So, yeah, everything is showing me that I would get a wonderful winning percentage, and I need to constantly, I just need to be taking more signals. And honestly, it's kind of weird because I think if I had money where it wasn't where I'm afraid of ending up blowing out my evaluation account or whatnot, I would take a lot more trades because I wouldn't be afraid of it. And it's just here I'm so hesitant of you know going deep in and not being able to dig myself out of a hole that I'm constantly second guessing myself. I want to prove eventually that this works. I believe it works by those numbers, but I got to put it into put it into action to actually prove that it works. Because if I can prove that it works, it's something I can easily teach other people, and that I would love to be able to teach people a simpler strategy to use that works. See, like here, I mean, this is actually a perfect example. Now, this is weird. The fact that this pierced the band on every candle. I've never seen this before on anything where it just did this slow grind up with everything pierced in the bands. But once it came back down, you can see here this candle pierced the third band. This was a great reversal signal. If I had gotten in on at the beginning of this candle, it went up 3 ticks and then reversed, and it's gone down now 9 points. So right there, that was a good. Now all these, there's no way I could have counted on this. Although even though here, if this pierced the band here, sorry, right here, where did get me gave about a 3 point reversal. This big one here through gave a little bit of reversal. This one gave a little bit of reversal. So even here, this started the reversal once it really pierced through the third again. So when it's piercing bands, look at this one here, pierced band. Next candle is 12 points up. So piercing the third, I believe in that whole piercing the third band enough that I'd love to have an automatic trading strategy that told me that just got into trades for me when it pierced the third band. Signal on gold. Gold's still going downward. Interesting signal here. We see a strong downtrend. Bollinger Bands are sitting there. Will this bounce or will this continue to go down? So let's look at resistance points. And it's going to be too late to get in once well, here's the first resistance point. We're on the 5-minute. Here's the 200 EMA. I would want to see it break this EMA before I would get in. We do see a bit of a bounce here, or it's trying to bounce. And I should have got in there. You're right, Mr. Higgles. The close bands do give less signals. Although there are times that if it really pierces close, like if it, I saw one asset last week that it went so far down that it would have pierced the sixth standard deviation band. Like that would have been a good signal. UltraBond, 18 volume on this current candle. Last few candles have had a 1, 1, 7, 9, 16. So, and I would love to plot out these and say this would work. That I'll be up 4 ticks, but in all reality, trying to get in this trade with that little bit of a volume, if I would have had the market in and I don't know what the spread is, and so fills might be off by 1 or 2 ticks. It bounced the other way. It went the other way once. It went and then back up. Yes, it reversed. Oops. Okay, so I made the mistake not getting into this gold trade. I was afraid it was going to bounce, but so far no bounce. Looks like this is going to continue in downward direction. Well, maybe there's the bounce. It's just a couple candles late. I've looked at 1.5. I've looked at indicators, John. I should say ATR lower. It just it seems to send more. The lower you go, the more signals it sends, and I got to keep mentally filtering them out. But it does send earlier signals that are good. So it's like the trade-off. Um, what other indicator did you mean? You said when the indicator tells me to buy. So what indicator are you using? While I have a moment, I want to thank everyone for joining me this evening. Please feel free to join John and Mr. Higgles and say hi in the chat. If you have any questions, be happy to answer them. All right, NQ, back to where I was. Ooh, that's pretty. Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry, my mind has so much going in that I don't always remember the details. I think I still have their website up on a tab somewhere while I was looking at it. So don't mind me if I ask questions like that, a couple of times until I remember. My mind can be a sieve at times. And right now I'm normally on a keto carnivore diet, but I'm transitioning back to adding more carbs in because of Thanksgiving coming up. So my mind might be a little bit more foggy than normal. Yeah, I'm on tomorrow morning and Friday morning from probably 7:30 to 10:30 or 11, and then next week will be a little bit different schedule because of Thanksgiving. Monday evening like normal, Tuesday morning like normal, and then I'll do a Wednesday morning session and a Friday morning session. Sure, on Friday we can talk about some of the sales the prop firms have going for Black Friday. I shall be here, hopefully making more profit. Thanks, John. I appreciate it. Gold's just kind of leveled out. Excuse me. So, since open, NASDAQ really has not given any absolutely wonderful signals. This was the first one after 7. Of course, that would have stopped out. Wouldn't have taken that one into the bands. Sure, that's actually the one I did take. That ended up stopping me out. This one didn't go that far. Would still be in that one actually. Gold, right here. Kind of sideways at the moment for the last few minutes. Yeah. Whoever's the new subscriber on YouTube, I appreciate your subscription if you're still here. Thank you for subscribing. What exactly are you wanting, Mr. Higgles? Okay. Well, just send me a buy signal. Tell me why you're saying that though. Don't just tell me to make a play. Tell me why you feel that way. Explain it to me. Yes, I realize I know you mean long, but tell me why. What are you seeing? What makes you think there's massive upside here? But okay, I can see for today it did kind of came up and came back down. I can see why you could say it would go back up, but I mean technically it came up a lot yesterday. So couldn't we see more downside before it starts bouncing? Because you had all this upside yesterday. If it breaks the SMA on the 1 minute chart here, I'll take a long, and there it is. Well, there it was. But I want to hedge that, and let me find my charts. Gold. Check what ES is doing real quick. ES is pointing downward. So, okay, gold is giving us a buy signal here. We're going to go in with 2 micro gold. And we'll see if Mr. Higgles is right. If you end up being right, I'm going to be mad at myself for not going with regular. One tick so far. It's micros. If you're wrong, the most I'm gonna lose is 20 bucks. UltraBond and copper. Copper. Oh, there we go. Sorry, I forgot to bring up the chart. We're up 2 ticks on this gold trade. Copper trying to move back up, coming into downtrending bands. UltraBond still very little volume. Whoa, where did that come from? Wow. A lot of volume. Went from one volume in the last minute to 221 here. I'm not sure what the heck just happened. Interesting. Oh, we're up 4 ticks on this gold trade. Copper. Not a lot of volume. What, on the UltraBond you're talking about? That big move up? Well, no, I didn't see it coming because the last 5 minutes there was like a volume of 10. Are you talking about on the UltraBond? Well, I mean, we did have a move down and a band, third band. I mean, that could have been the upturn, but I mean, for 10 minutes we had like no volume, and then all of a sudden, boom. And then back to no volume. So in that 1 minute time, we had more volume than we've had in the last like half an hour. Gold's come back down to break even. Clock. 850. 850 my time? Or what time zone are we talking about? This one here? So this one here. Stubby little candle. We're up 2 ticks on this gold trade. Okay, so why? What about this? What about this candle made you think it was gonna go? I mean, yeah, it was a buy signal, and it was above the SMA line. So I mean, there'd been no reason for me not to take it. Although for my 5 tick stop, it would have stopped me out. So what risk reward would you have gone with there? Because I would have had to go at least six ticks to not get stopped out. And so far out in that case, and I would only have gone up 2 ticks from this entry point. Oh, and now we're up 5 ticks on this gold trade. You don't use a stop loss. So what happens if a bounce never comes? I mean, what happens if it just continues to dead drop? Where do you decide to pull it at? Everything is kind of slowed down. We're kind of sideways on just about everything right now. I haven't looked at agriculture, but agriculture sideways too. Russell, sideways. Crude, crude's trended downward. One pullback, but otherwise trending down. It's below yesterday's lows. Natural gas, sideways. We are coming up on 10:30 on the East Coast. Probably hang out for about another 15 minutes or longer if anything exciting happens. I've seen the NQ. I've seen the NQ go down 50 points at a shot, yeah, on one 5-minute candle. Uh, yeah, sometimes it does. I mean, I've seen days, especially on something news driven, like if FMOC or something, where, let me put it this way, if something drops 50 points, I'm not willing to take a $1,000 loss. Yeah, it might bounce, but that's just too much for me. I'd rather get out and then get back in at some point if something's looking better for me than to just hope that it's going to bounce at some point. I mean, let's look at NQ today. 5 minute chart. Oops, wrong button. We're still up 4 ticks on this gold trade that's going nowhere fast. So here you hit its high of the day and it's just dropped. Over a half an hour's period of time, it dropped from 1397, 6397 down to about 16305. And so that's an 80-point drop, so $1,600. Now, yeah, it did bounce. It did bounce at least halfway back up, but you would have had to wait, 2 hours for that full bounce, and that you don't know it's coming. And if you're taking this full all the way down, even down you got a little bit of a bounce, and then it rejected, and then finally bounced up. I mean, I couldn't see sitting through $1,600 down, waiting for this bounce. Right. I would rather take a small loss with a stop loss and then look for the next entry than to just let something, keep going down to a hole I can't dig out of. Especially, on these valuations account, I can't lose more than 1,700 in a day. So if I let something dead drop on me, I'm putting myself into a huge hole. Yep. Now this gold trade's gone 2 ticks negative. I think it's giving us an opposite signal. It is. So it went as high as 7 ticks, and now it's reversing. Right back at break even now. Well, I mean, dead dropping 200, that's not horrible necessarily. It really depends. My stop loss is at 200 on a couple of different assets, but I'm talking about, it depends on the asset too, obviously. And I've watched gold come down $5,000 in a night, over like 12 hours with very little bounce along the way, you know. So at what point do you say, you know, what point do you call it? Oh, I tried to trade penny stocks, and if it wasn't for that PDT rule, I would probably still be doing it because you know I did find penny stocks to be pretty fun. I would get up at 4 in the morning when pre-market opened to try and catch news tidbits on these pennies to look for catalyst plays. But with only having 3 day trades a week, it wasn't worth continuing to try. We're down 3 ticks on this gold trade. Copper is trying to move back up. This sell signal would have been a bum signal. This buy signal, though, let's see, 35. It's going up to 20. Yeah, this would have been almost the winner. Gold's back up by 1 tick. ES sending us a what? ES sending us a sell signal, but these are tight. You see, we're getting a whole bunch of signals here. Blow this up. Move this aside a second. This has been trending downward here. This signal might have worked right here for 2 points, maybe. Let's see. Now it wouldn't even given us 2 points. So you can see this has been a very tight range. Barely doing anything right now. Ooh, big move down. We're now down 6 ticks on gold. Okay, I think I'm going to call it there for the night. I want to thank everyone for joining me. We'll be back, by we, I mean me, in less than 10 hours. 7:30 Eastern time tomorrow morning. Back at it. Trading live here for about 3.5 hours. We'll see. Hopefully finding some more trades so far for the day. We are up. Let me find that screen. Whoa. 180.50 gross. Realized P&L we're down 12, so about 170 right now. We'll see how that gold trade finishes, but there we go. So $180. Right now we're down $10 on that gold trade. I'll let it run even once I sign out here. But it's down 5 ticks right now. You can see it's actually sent us an opposite signal, but I'll just stay in through it and see how it goes. So, have a great night, everyone, and I'll see you in a few hours. Bye. Now, if you tune in tomorrow morning, Mr. Higgles, I'll let you know what it did. Have a good night. Bye.